This is American fighter Chuck Norris.
This is WWE Hall of Famer, the hardcore legend Mick Foley.
NFL legend Steve Mariucci, and I don't start my day without coffee and cards.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Ricky Williams, NFL legend and herbal connoisseur. And I don't ever start my day without coffee and cards.
Hosted by my buddies, the Bearded Grinch and Mike Blazin' Balliet.
What's up, everybody? Live edition Coffee and Cards. We have lots of special guests with us today. So far, we have Ian in here and Derek and Nick, all a part of the Coffee and Cards League. Chris, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. I'm actually really looking forward to this live fantasy draft we got going on, mainly because I'm not picking, so I just get to rag on everybody else for their crappy picks. It's going to be awesome.
Well, there it is. Not to jump ahead of ourselves, but the first quarterback is already off the board. You know, the more I've been listening to the podcast, they can't believe how early these quarterbacks are still going, even though they preach and preach and preach no quarterbacks. But Doug went ahead. I do think he's actually at work, and he queued his pick, so I don't know if he would have picked him or if it gave it to him. But what's your take on quarterbacks in the first round? We'll just start right into some of these questions.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's going to be Lamar or Mahomes, and it's only going to be, depending upon if it's a 10 or 12 team draft, if I have him at pick like 9, 10, 11, or 12, I'm not taking him in the top 8. Rarely would I even take him in the first round. But if I'm down at pick 11 and I know it's circling right back to me, I might grab a Lamar or Mahomes right there.
All right, so we're going to go full screen here for a minute. Again, we have Scott in here. Scott with his team name, $7. So appropriate. If you've ever been in a single break with us, you know where $7 come from. And if you don't know where it comes from, you need to be in more breaks.
What up, Scott? How you doing, buddy?
Doing great.
And then for those of you guys, I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
That was Scotty on there. What are you going to say, Scott?
Well, I'm ready to get this thing rolling. I got Barkley already, so I'm ready to build around that.
Were you pretty excited he fell to you at number 2, or were you okay with McCaffrey there too, or would you have preferred McCaffrey?
I don't know. This is the lowest picks I've ever had to start with.
So you clearly like him more than
Randoms aren't good for me.
Yeah, that's true. This is good for you, number 2.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Just, guys, I'm sure you know how to do it, but just a reminder, if for some reason you got a lot of volume in the background or there's stuff going on, just mute your mic when you want to. We might mute them too, but you're welcome to unmute them if you have something to share, or just mute them at your own convenience. We're going to go full screen for a minute just to show you the first picks. Chris, are you able to see that?
Yeah, we're down in there. So McCaffrey off the board at number 1, followed by Barkley, Elliott, Kamara, Henry, Cook, and then Thomas. I'm actually surprised Thomas fell that far down. Running back heavy out of the gate.
I think that's where you got to cut off the running backs. At that point, I'm not going to take Clyde Edwards over some of those top tier running backs. I'm going to focus on my picks here real quick, then I'll get you back to the board.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's chime in with some people we got with us. So Nick, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, guys? Sorry about that. My nephew keeps trying to FaceTime my son.
Oh, good. That's the beauty of going live, man. This is what happens. So what's your strategy? What are you looking for in this draft? Are you you go running back heavy? Are you a wide receiver guy? All right.
I'm really stuck with what to do here.
All right, let's move on then. Nick's having some audio trouble. Quarantine, what's going on, man? So what's your strategy coming into this draft? Are you a running back heavy guy? You go wide receiver? What's your take?
I just want to get 2 running backs out of the first 3 rounds.
What? I left an extra one there for you with a wide receiver pick. You're up.
All right.
Yeah, kind of back to what we were saying. It sounds like he has the same approach a lot of people are, but if you look at the way the draft board went, it was running back, 6 in a row, and then it went wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, quarterback, wide receiver, wide receiver. But on the back way around, it kind of is starting to reverse there. Everyone who grabbed non-running back went running back. Anyone who had running back so far, aside from Ian there, all went a different position. So no one went running back, except for this back end of the second round.
I can't disagree with that strategy. If you look at the way that the NFL is trending, the single back majority is null and void anymore. I mean, there's very few teams that are single back heavy. So if you can, pair up a good running back with a, tier 1 wide receiver out of the gates, I think that's probably a pretty good strategy to have. I think there's going to be a lot of, second year backs that might make an impact this year coming out. Like I see somebody already grabbed Miles Sanders pretty early off the board there. I'm not saying that's a bad pick at all, especially with what's going on in camp. Wentz already with a soft tissue issue, so we might be seeing Tua a little earlier than we thought this year. So it's an interesting strategy.
Yeah, in our draft that we did, my live draft I've done recently, Miles Sanders went at the end of the first round. So, and Josh Jacobs went right at the same spot. So it's interesting to see these second-year running backs getting scooped up already.
We got a few others in the house right now. Adam D's in here. Adam, what's going on? Welcome to the show, man. What's your strategy coming into this draft?
Don't lose. Now I like to get 2 running backs and play it from there.
So who do you have off the board already on your team?
I have Cook. Not thrilled with it. Vikings fan. And got DeAndre Hopkins. I'm next, though, so.
Well, concentrate on that. The way it looks, though, the running backs came off the board pretty much how the mocks are running. So there's really no surprise there. Again, a lot of places had Michael Thomas coming in a little bit sooner, but still top 10 pick. No surprise there at all either.
To me, Le'Veon Bell keeps going in the third, and I think he's going to definitely hit. I think his floor is the third round. What do you guys think about Le'Veon Bell this year as far as his floor goes?
Anybody in there? Who's got an opinion on Le'Veon?
I don't like him.
I don't trust Le'Veon.
He did horrible for me every time I've had him. After he left Pittsburgh, forget about it.
Yeah, injury prone and a little lazy. He talks a good game, but when it comes game time, I just don't see the effort being put in.
Yeah, he talks like he's still in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you know who that is for me? Leonard Fournette has done me the same way, and I want to trust him, and I keep wanting to do it, but he's done me dirty so much it's hard to even trust him anymore.
So we've got a question already out of the gate. If you had Le'Veon and Carson, would you trade them both for Eckler in a PPR league?
I would.
Yep. Quarterbacks are a dime a dozen, so I wouldn't worry about Wentz. I mean, you can grab somebody that's going to perform as well as he is, probably sitting on the bench after the draft's over. So, yeah, I mean, I would take Eckler over Le'Veon if that's what it comes down to, essentially.
Oh, that's who it was, Wentz and Le'Veon for Eckler.
Yeah, I'm good on that. Chris Taylor with the Tua question mark. What are you questioning Tua? What happens when Tua gets hurt? That's really what the question's going to be.
I think you said about someone being hurt, it might be Tua time, but I don't think it was on the Dolphins. I was trying to follow that myself.
Oh, I mean Hurts.
Yeah, you meant Hurts. I knew what you meant.
I've been mixing up my AFC South with my that's like twice now that's happened.
I knew what you meant, but he came at you with a Mike Cornett question mark.
Nice. If you guys are listening to us on Facebook, trying to put comments in, go ahead and at the top of the screen, give us permission to see your name. We got a Hey Boys, not sure who that's from, but welcome.
Sanders was
trying to read picks here, see who else we got coming off the board.
Full screen for a minute if that helps. So something we wanted to talk about too tonight while we drafted, and we can go through all these picks here in a little bit. There finally, Fournette just went in the first pick of the fourth round. I don't know, maybe you guys have heard this, but I've heard a lot of people with speculating that with the cost of cards this year, you're going to see rookie running backs and wide receivers, and even rookie cards, not just rookies this year, hit higher peaks than they have in the past. I mean, we're already seeing it. Looking at this first three, part of the fourth round, is there anybody you're seeing on there non-QB that you think is worth investing in with cards that you can buy kind of low right now and might have a good fantasy season where you're like, hey, we can probably, collect and flip some of these, or some guys are even going to start the PC?
I'll jump right up to that first pick of Edwards-Helaire there. in the first round. I think he's a guy that, he's in the right system. So if he can turn it on and become the guy there, absolutely. I can also go homer pick and say J.K. Dobbins is going to be one of those guys that you're probably not going to see. And if at all, it's going to be the late rounds. And I think he's going to be a great value pick.
Anybody else have a
I
take?
saw Clyde. You guys hear me? This is
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire go on eBay for like $240. It was out of 99 Panini Black. That's just crazy. Those aren't cards that are hard to get. I mean, you're going to run into one of those, but yeah, I think he's one of those guys where with Williams out, the other Williams just opened up with that offense. I agree.
Anyone else? Who's using one of those old school style printers that have like the rip tabs on the side of the paper? That's what I'm hearing that.
That's my washer. I'll mute. I'm in the basement.
That's the mystery.
Water
Guess that
paper.
sound.
So you just said about you couldn't believe that Clyde Edwards-Helaire went for that much money. But this is why that I bring that up about that speculation, because with the box prices being so high, people can't necessarily afford to always buy a box, or even breaks have become, significantly higher. So it's going to reflect in prices. And I mean, that's a good thing if you're still getting in breaks that you can recoup your money, especially on like maybe random teams where you got a team you weren't PCing. But I mean, that's a good indicator that that there's some truth to that speculation.
Whoever's
I think it's definitely
unstable to DK Metcalf, you are a jerk.
I think it's definitely time to start flipping right now. And like you said, with that $300 card, what's that going to be worth in 6 months? I think it's a great time to flip football.
There's a lot of people, though, saying that football is going to take that basketball turn and get a lot more people into the hobby in this season, with it being the only sport on TV.
So, guys, I want to send a huge shout out. This is what's really cool. One of the things that we don't get to talk about much on our show is when we can get a breakdown of where our listeners come from. We actually have listeners across the globe. And so Liam Mason is currently watching us live from Australia right now. So big shout out to Liam. What's going on, buddy? Hope you're doing well. That's kind of cool. I've already been talking to Seb Watson about our planned trip overseas once COVID stops. Mike, we're going to go sit down in an English pub somewhere across the pond and do a live show.
Don't you dare tease me.
Oh, what's happening?
All right, we're going to real quick just do a breakdown. We are in the back end of the fourth round. So there is, 36, there's 10, 38, 39, 40, 45 picks in, and here's the positions breakdown. There are, out of 45 picks, 4 quarterbacks, 19 wide receivers, 24 running backs, 3 tight ends, and it looks like they count 2 flex positions already. Oh no, is that right there? Yeah, that looks right. That's crazy.
Justin just chimed in and said Rodgers went in the 12th round of his draft.
It's where I've been seeing him go. That's nuts, isn't it? We talked about it a little bit last night after a draft we did. I said that Rodgers is getting drafted at the point where even I'm considering taking him, and that's saying a lot.
Well, if you're going to be wearing his jersey at some point, you might as well get used to it, right?
Oh, man, that thing's so dirty from foot grease. Oh, sorry. Ian's in the room. I shouldn't have said that. Let's unmute Ian here for a minute. Ian, why don't you come in? Tell us, why do you think Rodgers is getting drafted so late?
I don't think anyone was too excited about the receivers not being drafted and his weapons available to him.
So how does that mean? What does that mean for the team? I always find it hard to believe, because I think a lot of people are still picking them to win the North, which means they're going to have to win games. I don't think their defense is strong enough to win it 6-0, 9-0. So I don't ever understand the correlation between that. What's your thoughts? You think they'll still put up numbers?
Well, it looks like LaFleur's trying to get to a run-first kind of offense, or at least have the run improve the pass game, hopefully. Maybe with the drafting of A.J. Dillon and with Jones, the way he played last year, I would think. They're going to try to run the ball mainly to set up the run.
They have a couple. Who are their other guys there?
What we got?
They drafted a rookie last year too.
Yeah, they had Dexter Williams. They drafted at Notre Dame last year, and then they have.
There was one the same year Aaron Jones came in. I thought.
Right, I can't remember who he is offhand all of a sudden.
Well, Ian's about to draft, so we'll let him focus. Chris, you were going to say something.
I was just saying, if you're a Green Bay fan, my question is Rodgers always comes across as a pretty competitive guy, but I wonder how much of him is actually going to be into this season, how much effort's going to be there for him. He's got nothing to prove. He's already probably got it in his mind that this is going to be a one and done, and he's going to be on his way out at the end of this season, at least from the interviews I'm hearing. So what do you think? Does he go out there and really just give it all to try to win a bowl before he rolls on, or do you think he's just going to kind of get through the season and see what lies next for him?
Personally, I think he's going to give it his all. I mean, if he's going to go to a different team, he's going to want to look good, I would imagine, for whatever team he's going to leave for, if he is going to.
Yeah, I just always wonder with those veteran quarterbacks, because you know what you're getting with them, right? It's like Tom Brady when he decided he wanted to leave. He probably could have gone anywhere, even if they had gone, 8-8 this past season, and he didn't really perform a whole lot. I don't think you're going to have too many people that were worried about picking up Brady on their team. Probably the same way with Rodgers. I just know that he has a pretty bad taste in his mouth.
I don't think
he's got to be fast
either.
Our line sucks.
Are there anybody you guys? I know a lot of you guys are in more than one league. Is there anybody you find yourself drafting in almost every league that you get into? Is there a player you've been really favoring in your drafts?
Mike Evans.
I'll tell you after I draft him.
So Mike Evans over Godwin. You think Evans is going to have the better season?
I'd pick him up first because he usually goes first, but I'd rather have both. I didn't get any here, though.
Kind of like the Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram approach. Do you think they'll put up enough points that you can play both of them every week?
He's just going to throw the ball like he's never thrown it. I think he's got one of the best wide receiver cores he's ever seen there.
Yeah, but the question is who's going to be running the under patterns, because that's the guy that's going to get the ball 9 times out of 10, because Brady can only throw it 10 yards anymore.
I don't know.
If you're a slot receiver in Tampa Bay right now, you got to be licking your chops because your stats are going to be ridiculous.
Probably be Godwin, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would imagine he's probably. That's why I was saying I would imagine he's going to take a lot more of the the short, because defenses are going to be chomping at the bit to try to get a piece of Brady, no doubt about it.
Yeah, Chris is just jealous because he doesn't have a quarterback with quite the accuracy as Brady. So
we'll see this year if we can match the most touchdowns in the NFL.
So back to what I wanted to say. I know it sounds like Scott has someone in mind that he's drafting that he hasn't drafted yet. I said this is the year where I have found myself not targeting guys just because, I've had a lot of different draft positions, but I think this is the year where you don't have to stick to like a running back, wide. Like it's kind of the board's all been kind of all over the place, and you can see it right there. You're not seeing long runs where you typically do, except for that first 6 picks in the first round. But it seems to me Ronald Jones is a guy that keeps falling to me in that 5th and 6th round, and he's that perfect complement to your starting 2 running backs if you already took 2. And if you didn't, he's a great guy for RB2. The guy I've seen falling a ton is Joe Mixon. Look how far he went. He was going in the first round, like 10th, 11th pick a lot. He is falling pretty far with these contract migraines.
There's just a lot of uncertainty in that team altogether. I mean, listen, you got a first-year quarterback. I don't care where you came from and as good as you were. Burrow's not a guarantee going on a Bengals squad that's notorious for having a weak offensive line. A.J. Green's still battling some injury. So it's just a lot of uncertainty there. I don't doubt that Mixon's dropping a little bit.
All right, you guys, end of careers, Joe Burrow or Baker Mayfield? Who's going to end up with a better career?
Burrow.
Anyone else?
That's like asking who had the better career, Johnny Manziel or Tim Tebow.
Now his career,
Close. Tim Tebow had a much better career. That's like Manziel or Ryan Leaf is more appropriate.
I don't know. I think Baker will end up having a better career. I think they'll right the ship a little bit. I don't think they're ever going to be more than like a 10-6 team there in Cleveland. I don't see them playoff bound very often, but I think overall still have a salvageable career.
There's a guy I can't believe is going that late.
You guys are flying through this draft. This is one of the faster drafts I've seen.
I do like the 1 minute timer. I was in one last night that had a 2 minute timer, and man, those guys like to take you down to the last second on every pick.
Yeah. I don't like that.
I mean, if you don't know who you're taking in a minute, like you've probably done enough research. Plus, it's not like it's a draft where you have to look at your. They provide you with cheat sheets and auto rankings and stuff. Yahoo is. What do you guys? I'm only on Yahoo. I haven't done ESPN yet this year or NFL. The NFL I can't do. I don't like their format. But what is your favorite software to draft on? ESPN, CBS, Yahoo.
I did a baseball one this year on ESPN. Pain in the ass. Not a fan.
What didn't you like about it?
It's not by all of my other teams. It just looks different. You have to like click different buttons to edit it. It's just not. I'm not comfortable with it. I've been doing so long on Yahoo. It's just like a foreign language. I'm sure it's fine for people that like it, but I stick to Yahoo.
My big money league does something called RT Sports. They have a pretty good program I like. Trying to see who else is coming off the board there. So some scatterings of QBs.
Big Dog's killing me.
Is he taking your picks?
I think Dak is going to have a spectacular year. That offense. I should have taken him earlier on, but I think I'm good with Kyler. I think he'll have a good year too.
I feel like that's something that's said every year, and we're just waiting for it to happen. I think everybody says Dak's going to have a great year, and I'm just waiting.
I agree.
I definitely think he should be drafted ahead of who he's being drafted ahead of, except for maybe Deshaun Watson. I mean, Dak going that high is a little like, I guess Deshaun and Kyler. I think he should probably go right after them. But
so what's everybody being down on Breeze for? Is it the off the field stuff, or do people really think he's going to have a down year?
I think Breeze is in that Rodgers class. They just don't. I don't know. It's one of those things for me, at least. Every time I have them, it's not. They just don't put up the numbers like, a Patty or a Lamar. At least last year.
Inconsistency. They don't have the legs to put up the stuff on the ground, so I don't know. They have to have an
evolution of the game. You think the pocket passer is a thing of the past?
I do.
Fantasy, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Because it all depends on who they're playing. If their pass game's great, for against that team, then sure Rodgers is going to work. But if the main game's the run game and the short pass game, then it's not really going to be that effective when they're outside the pocket just doing the flare, and then they don't get outside the pocket that bad.
So which of the second-year quarterbacks do you think is going to have the best year?
Oh, I think Kyler is.
Kyler?
I think Kyler.
Anybody on the Danny Dimes train?
I'll say Drew Lock.
I think he's one that's going under the radar because he seems to get left out of the discussion. Everybody's either split between Jones and Murray, and I think Lock's just kind of sitting there and going to quietly make it happen.
And he has weapons both on the ground and for him to throw to in the air. So I think you're right. That could be a sneaky one.
So just fantasy news, not really fantasy, but in drafting defenses, Derwin James injured his meniscus, going to miss some significant time. That's just in.
Our first defense off the board in round 7, that is quite possibly the earliest I've seen a defense taken.
Wow. now. Who's that? San Fran?
Yep. That's neat. What do you guys think about Matt Ryan? Now that he's off the board, I can talk about him. I was targeting him, and it looks like who's Caramel? I got to look up who Caramel. It looks like it's Josh. Matt Ryan, where do you guys feel like he finishes as a quarterback this year?
He's in that same mold that Scott and I were talking about, right?
The pocket passers and then
he can't run that much. I don't know. Julio Jones, if he's healthy, that helps obviously, and Ridley should have a big year.
He's another quarterback that I keep waiting to have that breakout, and it just never seems to happen.
Yeah. He could have a better year with Ridley getting more experience in there, so I don't know. Could be a surprise.
I think the one way the pocket passers could work is, with a very quality ground game to keep defenses honest and not, they're not able to stack the box. You can sit back in the pocket and kind of work through your reads. But if you don't have a good ground game, I think you have to have a running quarterback.
So let's keep on quarterbacks. I got a question for you because I was reading an article earlier. It's talking about that the Jaguars are firmly in the driver's seat to pick up Trevor coming out of Clemson. What do you think about Minshew? Can Minshew make it happen this year?
Well, he's not getting free water. So.
Yeah. I hope so. I got a few of his cards.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would be shocked if he does well, but I don't think in the reverse, I don't think anyone would be surprised if he's a complete flop either.
Well, I think a lot of the complete flops out of that draft class have already kind of shown their face, unfortunately. I mean, there's guys that are just, the Will Greers of the world that are just never going to see the light of day. Ryan Finley, another one up there that's just, unfortunately, is going to be that third stringer, probably career third string QB.
All right.
The XFL's back. There's more options for him.
Freaking Will Fork on first date took Evan Ingram. Son of a gun. I thought for sure he was falling. All right, let's see.
Ingram's another guy that every time I pick him, he gets hurt.
Cohen. Oof.
Was that who are you talking about there?
I said every time I pick Ingram, he gets hurt. He's just one of those guys for me.
Yeah, you were saying that I think last night when I was sharing that. He's just one of those guys this year after the way it went last year, getting a lot of rest. I think that the team's better. I'm willing to again. He went into the last pick of the 7th round. I mean, he's going after Higbee, Waller, Hunter, Hurst, Cook, Ertz, Andrews, Kelsey, and Kittle. He's the 10th tight end off the board. At that point, I think you can afford to grab him and a backup in a later round. And man, we would agree that if he's healthy, he's got top 5 potential, though, right?
Oh yeah, he's got the athletic ability, definitely. I mean, even after the catch yardage with him, if he stays healthy.
I think it's worth the risk there. Whoever Wilfork on the I just got that name, Nick D. Wilfork on the first.
You kept saying it. You kept saying it, Mike, and I kept laughing.
It's like Mad Gab, the game Mad Gab or whatever. They have to say all these stupid words and see what they mean. I lost that round. Son of a bitch.
Right on the podcast. Love it.
So our stats guy, Chris Taylor, has chimed in. We were talking Prescott, and he said that he was number 2 overall in fantasy points last year, and that not being a good year. And I can see that from a fantasy perspective. I'm kind of sitting here with 2 hats on because I'm not drafting, and I'm talking just from an NFL career. That's really where I was coming from with Prescott. I think the Cowboys are always in the talk of, is this going to be the year? And it's just never the year for them.
Yeah, Chris, I think a lot of people do that. They try to associate, and we talked about this last night, disassociating your love or hate for a player when you draft for fantasy. I'm guilty of it with Rodgers where he's fallen. I'm definitely probably missing out on good value there. But is there anybody that you guys steer away from because of fandom? We asked this last night. Is there anyone you guys gravitate to or stay away from in fantasy because of your fandom?
A Jet.
Jets?
Any Jets. I don't even care about the Bills. I'll draft a Bill. The Jets, I just can't do it.
Because they have the Patriots number.
Well, it's all. I think it all stems back to like the I resign as the HC of the NYJ with Belichick. I just you just see the hate from him and hear it from Brady on calls back in the day. And the Bills are the Bills. The Jets, played them a little tougher for sure.
I'm
Believe
not
it or
sure there's
not,
anybody I would draft on the Jets
DK
anyway, so I can agree with you there.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf's the only Seattle Seahawk that I will draft.
Really?
Otherwise, I feel like I'm jinxing the rest of them.
So that's a whole nother take on it. Would you not draft, to Scott's point, would you not draft, like if I'm sitting there in the third round or fourth round and Lamar slipped, am I going to pick Lamar up on my fantasy team? Or do I fear that by doing so, I'm going to jinx him and it's going to be a bad season? Do you guys have any superstitions with that?
No.
I was the Brady Bunch for years.
I'm doing it. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I'm going to hell.
You gotta take a shower after that.
Dirty. I feel wrong. I don't feel good about this.
Awful. I can't believe I'm watching that.
I cannot believe I did that. I'm ashamed. Can I go back?
Yeah. Back season.
I'm dropping.
Mike Tornett just took a shot.
To me, it's the same concept I just said about Evan Engram. When you are getting Aaron Rodgers in the 9th round with his floor, it's hard to say. I'm going to draft another quarterback later, but his floor is so high, in my opinion. I like Stafford more. I like Ben more. I like Wentz more as far as if I knew they could stay healthy, but all three of them terrify me for injuries.
Yeah, Stafford coming back this year. Stafford was looking really good in practice so far this year, though. I mean, that guy has a cannon.
And he's got
Rodgers could come down with osteoporosis this year.
Man, a kicker in the defense in the first 9 rounds for Nate. Nate is completing his starting lineup.
There's guys that'll do that. I've had guys in many drafts that'll go through and just fill out their entire starting roster before they pick up any reserve players.
It's all right with you guys. I'm just going to kind of run down real quick, starting with the quarterbacks in order of how they were picked. It's gone Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, which is pretty common. Russell Wilson is usually the third as well. And then here's where you see a lot of mix-up. A lot of times I see Kyler go fourth, but it went 1, 2, 3. It went Drew Brees, Dak, then Deshaun after both of those. Kyler even after Deshaun. Am I correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it went Kyler and then Deshaun. My bad. Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Stafford, and then Rodgers. Any thoughts on that? Like where some guys should have went a lot higher or a lot later? I mean, I know a lot of you thought Dak should go low, or anyone you thought should have went a lot higher.
Rodgers.
Good pick then.
I mean, let's see, Murray towards the end of the 6th round. I've seen him go earlier. I've seen him in the 4th round of a lot of drafts. Yep. I think people are relying on his legs to get it done too. And, there's obviously D-Hop, and he's got some short down passing stuff with Kenyon Drake.
We talked about Mixon. I talked about Mixon falling a little bit, and I think you guys kind of noticed that too. But Josh Allen, the quarterback, Josh Allen, has fallen quite a bit too. Now and I heard this is across the board, not just in this draft, falling below Tom Brady and Matt Ryan in picks. They said him talking about not using his legs as much has definitely knocked down his draft position.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that because Lamar said the same thing all through preseason. He wasn't going to run as much, and apparently people don't believe him, so they're still drafting him pretty high.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him use his arm a lot more if he can. And then when you start to use your arm more and you spread the field wide open like that, that makes those quarterback runs all the more powerful.
All right, question for everyone: who you and if you didn't draft the person yet and you're hanging on to him, but is there anyone that's already off the board, or if you're willing to take the leap and they're not, that you think is going to have a big breakout year that hasn't had a breakout year, maybe like second, third year player that's going to have a huge breakout year?
I'll tell you in 5 picks.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got someone in mind too.
All right. As soon as they go off the board, let us know who it is, and I'm curious to see who your breakouts are. Anybody that's drafted so far that you feel like is going to be just a total utter flop?
Kamara.
At his draft position, yeah.
Devin Singletary.
Yeah. Because of Zach Moss?
Maybe, but I still took Devin Singletary because he was the best third pickup that I could figure out at that time. I think maybe Zach Moss might take those end zone points away from him.
I think you're right.
What about Dalvin Cook, Adam? What's up with him? Is he
I would
struggling with his
definitely-
contracts?
I would definitely take Madison as a handcuff if you can. I don't know. He's always injured. I love him, but man, always injured.
Yeah, he was a beast last year for the first half, right? And then he got hurt. But I thought he was upset about his contract.
Yeah, I don't know.
He canceled those negotiations, I think,
I got it.
until next year.
Yeah, I think he's planning on playing, but
Chris asked, where did Cam Akers go? I think he was the 26th running back off the board, back end of the 5th round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 26 off the board, back 11th pick of the 5th round, right behind Raheem Mostert. And then this is crazy. We went the entire 6th round without a running back selection. Something to pay attention to.
And then David Montgomery came off. Didn't he get carted off with a groin injury? Taylor would know that one.
Yeah.
He fell down. I don't know what happened.
No, when they bring a card out, it's never good.
Non-contact, I think.
So I did get to watch. There was one of the first college games on last night, and the rust was certainly there. What do you think about the rust factor coming into the first few games of the season? Who benefits from not having a preseason? Who are those players you think that are going to be able to excel, given the lack of time to actually compete with other teams?
I think the rookies are going to have it real tough, obviously.
Yeah, especially the rookie quarterbacks.
Well, especially rookie quarterbacks whose defenses suck, right? Because they don't have anybody really scheming against them that's going to put up anything that they're going to see when it comes to reality.
Roger Freeman caught me. Son of a bitch. It was an accident. My kid pressed the button. Can you refund my order?
Adam not as
Kerryon
described.
Johnson announced the starter.
Who?
DeAndre Swift with leg injury. Kerryon Johnson.
Ah.
I'll take him.
Definitely have a couple
Hopefully.
shares of DeAndre Swift. That's not good. Carson Wentz and Big Ben going off the board in the 10th, the only 2 quarterbacks taken. I think just this is a great – and again, there's always the question of injury, but great example of why you can wait for a quarterback. Those are good names.
I think Alan Lazard will have a big year too in Green Bay.
Yeah, my brother is really big on him.
He wasn't even on the sheet for my in-person draft yesterday. Crazy. Like they didn't have a name for him.
There was rumors that Dolphins were going to be trading Kalen Ballage to the Jets. That has fallen apart. Apparently, he failed his physical, so he'll be staying put in Miami.
Kalen Ballage.
Yeah.
Who's she?
If you're Swansea looking for a pitch middle, thinking left center, right center, make it be up.
That was one of those rookies. Kalen Ballage is one of those rookies that one year that all the patch cards come out in almost every rookie.
You know who I'm waiting to blow up because I have about 25 redemptions? Kiki Kuti.
Yeah.
Got a couple. I'll sell them real cheap.
You guys think Earl Thomas finds a home anywhere?
I don't know. He's burning a lot of bridges.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
someone,
what's his
I don't think Seattle.
Man, do you think the Antonio Brown situation has just scared GMs away from crazy?
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
if
they
it
don't-
doesn't, then the GMs are crazy themselves.
I think that just the player, there's so much talent in our world, and they're coming into the league. I think they've realized that like talent can be replaced over time. You may miss out, but it's not worth the damage it can cause.
So that's what they say all the time. Like if you're building a strong foundation, it's owner, GM, head coach, quarterback. Those four pieces have to be super strong. Everything else you can kind of build around. So if you've got a GM that's going to allow for things like that to come in and infiltrate the locker room, stuff like that, it's just not a good deal.
Never more than a 1-year contract for that. That's for
Absolutely.
Sure.
And big time on incentives, right? Perform, pay for performance.
Sounds like a New England player.
Well, more NFL news. So we know Budda Baker landed that $59 million deal to become the highest paid safety in the NFL. Seems like money is flowing quite a bit lately.
Go Huskies.
I mean, this has been a year for records. We've seen multiple records broken at several positions.
Which is not like, is that natural to happen as every year we get bigger? You know, like it's just the inflation of these contracts.
Well, that and the salary cap. I mean, the increase in the cap definitely helps out for sure.
I just wonder how much it handcuffs the team when they sign those big contracts to that one player.
Yeah, well, you wonder how they do it, right? I mean, Kansas City was the first one. Everybody was wondering what was going to happen, and they seem to be able to shore up some players. Now, does that mean in a year they're going to be hurting? Who knows? But I guess they're going all in.
Well, look at New England. They did so well because people are taking pay cuts to stay on the team. I thought.
Yeah. It's Chris Taylor saying that Earl Thomas and AB are going to team up somewhere. Can you imagine that locker room?
I think this next comment is related to getting carted off, and this is the same thing that happened, I think, with David Montgomery when they, or there was someone else that got carted off, and then it was immediately found out that it was just precautionary.
So you're telling me that the media is exaggerating something? I don't believe it.
No, they do that. Stop that. Fake news. I want to ask you guys, since you're all in here, and this week Donruss releases. Obviously, only 2 hits per box. It's pretty pricey this year. Do you think this is a product where maybe we only do like a couple, maybe a one PYT up and then do some PYT mixers with that and some other product? Or you think we should do multiple Donruss only breaks?
I think it'll be a tough fill if you do more.
You think that only don't do a lot of Donruss only breaks?
I would think a Donruss only break will fill once or twice, then it'll struggle.
And then kind of mix it up, add some extra.
Hopefully the price will go down a little bit and it can get more affordable mixers eventually. But yeah, it's a little pricey coming out for what it is.
Yeah, and I thought it wouldn't be. I thought we'd finally see a product that wasn't so heavily allocated, but it didn't change, man. It was just it's impossible to get.
Crazy.
I can't even imagine to see what's going to happen when Flawless and NT come rolling around.
Huh.
I can't believe Mosaic's prices.
Yeah, Mosaic's just insane.
Collegiates this week, Immaculate. That should be interesting too.
Is that Friday, Adam?
It's Wednesday.
With Donruss.
Yeah.
I've seen some first off the line boxes get ripped and nothing exciting. I'm one of those guys. The college product doesn't really do much for me unless it's a PC.
Yeah.
So I'll go heavy into a PYT on that, but it's not something I'm really looking forward to going out and buying myself.
Might mix well with Donruss though, with like some nice hits in there.
Beautiful cards, no doubt about that. One of the things, if you're talking mosaic, have you guys seen on the basketball mosaics, they have the white mosaic background? Those cards are absolutely unbelievably just sharp looking.
Where'd they come out of?
So the basketball mosaic white ones, I just saw. It's really cool because it was a Tyler Hero. My LCS got it back from PSA. It was a PSA 10. So you got to imagine it's the white mosaic background with the pop of the red Miami jersey on it, and then the PSA red and white, script. It's just a really sharp looking card, but they'll
Is
look
that from
pretty
the
nice.
Panini packs? Is that for the Panini packs you bought with points, or is that from one of the products?
That was in the mosaic hobby boxes.
Oh, in the hobby?
Mhm.
Nice.
I just don't know if Mosaic is for football is going to be the same as it is for basketball. Basketball does a lot better with parallels and inserts.
Well, they're starting to come around. We were talking about that on a previous show. I mean, you got Prism wasn't doing nearly what it did now, and all of a sudden, you're looking at Patty Mahomes silver Prism PSA 10s going for $10,000. So
No, I was trying to bring it up. Son of a gun, get back in.
Auto pick your kicker.
No,
do it. Oh, you picked Peterson automatically.
Did they draft Aaron Rodgers while I was gone? How did I get him?
Hey, one of those guys was.
Oh no, you
picked that I
got the
picked
New
after
York
the year.
Yankees.
Join us in fighting for what's right.
Mike, I think Damian Harris is going to have a bigger year than people think for the Patriots.
Hey, Mike, I'll make it easy on you. I'll send you a picture of this card, and you can pop it up there.
All right, that's cool. I was just I wanted to see him. I did see it. It looks very nice.
So what position do you never take? Is there anybody that has a position they just will never take? Or does everybody always fill out their roster?
I usually get everything.
I used to not draft, but with no preseason, I'm drafting all positions.
Clearly as perplexed with his performance as I think fans may be watching tonight. Short on Marietta, and that means Joe Girardi goes
Just to counterbalance my Aaron Rodgers pick.
is the first pitch out of the pen for Phil.
Homer pick.
Change-up and a curve.
One of those legs.
He's a beast. It's a horse.
Yes.
All right, Mike, I sent you a picture of that hero card. I don't know what it is about it. Everybody else might look at it and think it falls flat, but for me, it's just a sharp-looking card. And that's the thing about Mosaic is the cards are beautiful cards. Are they $800 box cards? That yet to be seen, but
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty.
Chris, I have the pink one at PSA right now.
Nice.
Tyler Hero.
He's a guy that if they can push in the playoffs, I mean, they got the Bucks next round, so it's going to be tough. But I mean, he's looking good. His silver PSA 10s are shooting up in price big time.
I also have a Luka rookie that I bought for $10 earlier this year.
Wow.
$10 local, and I still talk to the guy. He sold the other one like 2 weeks ago for $100 raw.
Think about that. The base Prism Luka, ungraded, are selling for $600 a pop right now.
Yeah. Just the Donruss is $400 I saw on eBay.
What's the optic? Wonder what the optic's going for? $7, I think.
Tell you, Optic is one of those underrated products too. I've been working on my Lamar Rainbow, and man, they're sharp looking. You start getting some of the variations like the bronze and the pinks, and it's a really nice looking set.
Chris saying, I think he's talking about Immaculate. as it being a first off the line, but someone already hit the Herbie out of 10. Herbert.
He's got an impressive little PC, Herbert.
So Jay Tosky in our group got a hold of me about that optic Danny Dimes. You're talking about optic underrated. I had no idea the value of it. I didn't look it up at all. It went right into my PC. And he said the lowest comp on it was, he said today he was looking for one, $750. The highest was $750.
Right out of the PC.
So
I don't know. I'm hanging on to it. I think he's going to be solid. I really do.
Mike, I got a
Where's it?
redemption that is coming my way for you. It's a 2019 Spectre Signatures Neon Marble Cooper Cup numbered to 4.
What?
It's being shipped my way.
Like, we got to work out something there. I did get your Galladay, dude. I wanted to put it's still in the bubble. I got to crack it. I wanted to say thank you, dude.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, I gotta jump off and go to a keeper one that's about to start. Good luck, though.
All right.
Thanks,
Good luck,
guys.
man. Nice talking to you.
Much appreciated.
Phillies were hot as they've been all year at the start of the game. And they have quite a big tall order in front of them to try to come back.
What round are y'all in? 10?
Just hooking me up with the 101 Kenny G.
Nice card.
I'll tell you what, their 1 of 1 font is just, there's something about it. No matter what card it's on, it just makes it look so great.
12, Chris. We're almost done.
Y'all blew through that. That's quick.
1 minute rounds help.
You weren't drinking enough, I guess.
Scored against Arietta.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a shot at the end of every round.
That'd make it interesting.
Mike, you got to get some of that peanut butter whiskey tonight.
I can't have it. I'm not allowed to have it in my house.
It's so good.
My son has like this. If my wife found it down here, yeah, my wife would literally like leave me in the house alone or tell me to get out.
I'm sorry.
When I go away on the trip, I said if I ever go to visit anyone or if I go away without them, that's the first thing I'm trying. I'm buying a bottle of that and pounding it.
Boy, this changes so dramatically.
Yeah, I haven't had real peanut butter in like 2 years now, so I'm ready. A peanut butter and jelly might make me get like too excited.
Nothing better.
It really is good. I use that Wow butter, but it just doesn't do it.
You haven't had your cookie butter yet, have you?
No, I never ordered it.
You're
I think
missing out.
it contains peanuts, doesn't it?
No, it's just
Hey,
cookies.
what?
It's cookie butter. It's like you know those speculoos cookies? You ever heard of them?
I think we talked about this on that break a while ago.
I'm talking about food a lot because I haven't been able to eat any recently.
Oh, it's Trader Joe's, right?
You can get it anywhere, but yeah, that's one place.
Would have been one of those nights where the fans would have been taken completely out of it.
It's good stuff. Look at that. We've gone full circle from football. Now we're talking about peanut butter.
I don't think we ever go a break without even getting food slipped in there.
Well, we're about a week away from the Oxy Live show, so that'll be fun.
I'll have a couple shots that night, so we're both a little tuned up.
That'll be good. Good to go.
That way we can't keep each other accountable. We'll just both be all.
That might be a live
Hey,
broadcast.
I'm still available.
Who is?
Robbie Anderson.
I know. I can't believe how late he's going.
So, Scott, who was your player that you get every draft that now that you've drafted him?
Oh, DK Metcalf, but some jerk already took him. No, I don't know. I keep quite a big variety, but I would have to say that in my later round, I've been picking up Alan Lazard, and for kind of sneaky running back, I've been picking up Duke Johnson just in case, Duke Johnson doesn't work out. I'm not. Yeah.
No action.
Other than that, I've been keeping quite a variety.
Well, I'm offer Harper to
DJ Shark is another one that I keep seeing on my team.
front inning.
Shark. Sorry, I'm a Shark.
You're an American. He's now in charge of the football.
Hopefully he has a good year like he did last year.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting. This year is definitely going to be different than any we've seen before, I think. How many games do you think it is before they start getting into the groove?
I think you're going to see high scores, kind of like you do with basketball coming out. I think it's just going to be a lot of offensive stuff. Even if it's running game, you might see more running. But I think defenses are going to get tired quickly, even though defenses have the edge. I just think conditioning is going to be a bigger thing this year.
At what point does it turn into flag football?
It's about halfway there already.
We're all changing the way things get done. Like how we redefine collaboration, how we come up with new ways to serve our customers.
That's what was going to happen to our youth sports, and then they just canceled them here. They were going to have no linemen, basically have flag football for all the kids, and then they just canceled it.
Yeah, I thought ours would be shut down by now. They're all playing. They practice every night.
Oh, I wish, dude. I wish.
In Massachusetts, they shut us down, but in New Hampshire, they have. I'm right on the New Hampshire line, so they have flag football up there. We're playing, but they just canceled it. Baseball's still going, so my son can play baseball. He's 8, but we got a dream team to bring up to New Hampshire. Should be fun.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of club leagues start forming that don't have to worry about that. Like they're not public sports. I think you're going to just see like a lot of privatized sports leagues starting outside of high school and like AYSO or, Little League and stuff like that. You're going to see because then they don't really have to adhere to anything outside of mandates.
Make 7 pregame picks that feature the storylines around the league.
We just got Drew Lock. Good. I mean, that's a great value on him. I kind of regret doing Danny Dimes that early and not doing Lock.
14th round.
But like seriously, look at this upside on round 13. Baker, Goff. I'm not going to count Burrow because I think his floor is way too low. But Baker, Goff, Carr, and Minshew, all with really like their floors are okay for that round, and their ceilings are like so high. I think, especially Derek Carr. He does have the toughest schedule against QBs for defenses. But he's a 40 touchdown quarterback in the past.
Wants to be out there and not happy about going in. But for the Braves, very smart decision. You want to be safe. He's a big part of the result of what happens to the Braves this year.
What's the green kickers?
Really just got him back Wednesday.
So 2 kickers went in the 9th round. Interesting.
Here is the first off the line immaculate Chris Taylor shared.
Pass it along to you.
That's not ugly.
By the Atlanta Braves has really.
I just don't get now that they're having why they waited so long to release this with all the NFL stuff out. It's kind of stinks that now they're still releasing this in the college uniforms.
Oh, it's because they got to milk the cow. You got to have the college immaculate, so then you can have the regular immaculate.
Now, is it actual pro uniforms, or is that all?
That's collegiate immaculate. That's going to be all college uniforms.
Right. When like the NFL uniforms, are those actual uniforms, or are those photoshopped?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's awesome that we don't know, but I honestly don't know. They didn't have the rookie premiere, so the only thing I could think of is that they actually had the players individually for photo shoot.
So let me ask a question. When do you start to see the taper off on exorbitant prices for players like Patrick Mahomes, right? So now this product you're coming into now is 4th year. So at this point, you're getting 4th year autos. I mean, obviously, at some point, the bubble's got to burst where the prices just aren't that ridiculous anymore.
No, first of all, if you leave it to the hands of the players never come out. So I think the Braves did an excellent job going through the situation, and they all talked. They said, you know what, we're going to play the long game here.
I don't know. I think the market said it's unique for it's never been like this, so I don't think anyone really knows what to expect.
One gone for Didi Gregorius. I mean, the Phillies know that there's a 10-run deficit up there, right? Try to chip away where you can.
Both as a hitter and a pitcher in this situation, you want to mentally think about this as a close game, not try to do too much.
Who's watching baseball?
I'm watching.
Change with one pitch, one play.
You like baseball?
I like it better when there's fans.
We've been
Why
talking
is
about
that?
that quite a bit.
Why is that it changes your perspective on it? I agree with you.
Like, when it's bottom of the ninth, runners on, down 2, you got the closer on, you just don't have any of that. You don't have any cheering.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy. I can listen to it on the radio. Luckily, I'm a Brewers fan, so I got Bob Uecker, But TV's hard sometimes to watch for me this year. Basketball didn't really bother me a whole lot with no fans, with their virtual little.
They did a good job with their virtual stuff there.
There's the run on kickers, round 15.
I think it's the last round, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Y'all blew that.
1
So,
hour drive.
round robin, real quick. Favorite product of 2020 so far?
Any pro uniform. I like black. Black looks really nice. Looking forward to getting some cards tomorrow. Actually, Lynn Bowden. I pulled me a Lynn Bowden and a Josh Jacobs, which I'm looking forward to see.
Yeah.
Prism Draft that had all the Seahawks in it.
Wait, what was that? I missed it.
Prism Draft. It had all my Seahawks in it. It was the only one.
They must not make a ton of that product because it just dries up so fast.
Scott, you're big. You only collect PC stuff, right?
Yeah, I only keep PC stuff.
I've
All the other
I
stuff
kind
I
of
get.
just joined that train and started doing it. I gotta be honest. I still get things, but I usually get them to flip them to again go buy more PC stuff. But just getting PC stuff lately has been really awesome. I enjoy it so much more.
I find it harder and harder to find the time to flip the cards to get my PC stuff instead of now I'm just kind of focusing on getting just PC stuff because of the amount of time I have to flip.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like that is going to close up the draft. Chris, good round robin there. Does anyone else that not get to chime in have a favorite product this year? Draft picks, Prism, and Black were our two. Anyone else?
I always prefer Elements.
Elements was very nice this year. Very nice. Good vet autos. And that's the only thing I would say about Black is that they promised us these awesome vets, and they haven't really come out. The two best ones we've pulled, Singletary and who was the other one? Was it Lawrence Taylor? Both of them redemptions. So that kind of was a little irritating. But Elements had some great vets in it. That was a good and on card too.
Seahawks Element vet were Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, and Earl Thomas. Those are my choices for autos and Elements. I was like, oh my goodness.
They're all gone, aren't they?
Yeah, well, Chancellor retired because of an injury, and the other two are on other teams, and one's flipping off every team that he leaves.
That's so. Dude, the Seahawks have the worst luck with players that are no longer on their team but have massive amounts of autos.
Yeah, it's like a
Who was
slap
the guy-
in the face. I think
Who was the
Beignet
guy
Seahawks.
last year?
What was
Gary
that?
Jennings Jr.
Gary Jennings
Oh,
Jr.
yeah. Yeah, he's my favorite. I think the XFL cut him too.
He's going to get cut from Miami soon.
Yeah, I don't know. He hurt his shoulder celebrating for a teammate.
He has no place in the
That was
NFL.
a good reason.
I mean, at least he's celebrating for somebody.
At least he's happy about his position, I guess. I don't know.
At least he wasn't throwing a pretend punch at someone on his team and getting kicked off. So, like your other guy on that.
Oh, God.
All right, Chris, any final wrap-up thoughts before we say goodnight?
No, it's like I said, it's kind of fun being on the outside in, not having the pressure of having to pick. So I think my team's probably coming out on top after this draft. No, it was good. I appreciate you guys jumping on and hanging out for a little bit. I like taking some time away from just our normal to get to do this kind of stuff.
This will probably be primarily a video episode, so Chris and I are going to have to throw together an audio episode like ASAP, it sounds like, Chris, because we didn't really do a great job at announcing these.
No, we'll drop something tomorrow for our normal Tuesday drop, and then Friday will be the first one with our special guest, Kelly Boyer.
Sounds good.
Nice.
You all have a fantastic night. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you guys giving up your time to be on the podcast and do the draft together. Good luck to everyone.
Thanks
for having us.
Yeah.